Hardship. PDP slams APC, insists Tinubu lacks capacity. You just mentioned.
I just mentioned it. He doesn't have it. That's my belief. He doesn't have it. There's no point being polite about that. Is one thing we need, a culture we need to imbibe in this country. It's not about whether he's your countryman or he's whatever. It's about the future of over 200 million people. And then people too should. I like the example I made of what happened. That lady spent, I think, just about 3 months. You remember?
Mm-hmm.
Just about 3 months. And it was clear she couldn't do it. And there was a nice thing. She two stepped aside and smelled about it. And everybody went on. So the PDP, look at my cousin here. This is the most visible chief of staff I've ever seen. Whether he's competing with the president, I honestly don't know. A chief of staff is never seen. Even when Buhari had a Quadry that was visible in the media, he wasn't visible, physically. This is part of the problem, and we should tell him the truth. But if he can't, I always believed that that was the job of a technocrat. If your chief of staff is busy gallivanting, coming to Lagos, doing this and that, the work is not going to get done properly. We must begin to tell ourselves some truth. Everywhere the president goes, I'm glad that the National Security Advisor has taken a step back. He took the advice in good faith. But I should do the same. You can't be a politician and be a chief of staff. In reality, because it doesn't add up. We need somebody who will concentrate on the grind. A chief of staff never has a life. You don't see him. He should always be busy. Do you know what the president's in-trade looks like to get the job done? But that is part of the competence that we are talking about. We must tell ourselves some home truths. So the PDP says that the PDP has taken a swipe at APC and federal government for attacking governors elected. That is the politics that they are doing. Okay? But I join them in saying that Tinubu lacks the capacity to run this country. He's just a brilliant person there are people like that. I can't run this country, for example. Some people say, he's brilliant, he can do this, he'll run for politics. No. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have what it takes to go to the grind and move. The politics of today demands that a leader should be well exposed, calm, and be capable. If you can't give a multinational to somebody to run, you have no business giving him a whole country. That's why we are where we are. Leadership has changed from the good old political, when we had a grade 2 teacher who was president, of course, he ran the country aground. He ran the country aground. And even if you are that kind of, how could you have a man who is more involved in politics and then his chief of staff is also the same? Same of same. Same of same. If he wanted the technocrats that, he easily could have picked. So they stay back and get the work done. The so-called success that they talk about in Lagos, how did it come about? Those who know who did the job. Yes. And I remember sitting with a governor who said that was the best template ever, that anybody, let the governor be doing the politics, but have somebody back home who is holding the home front. And of course, you know what I'm talking about. I think it was quite evident to everybody. So there's infighting. Of course, there's a lot of politics going on. The PDP in a statement noted that Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his APC must take responsibility for plunging Nigerians into excruciating suffering as a result of their policy choices. This idea of also referring to 8 years, because this gentleman who came yesterday, he was so badly behaved. He's one of the spokespersons of the APC, calling the people you are dealing with my daughters, my sons, throwing tantrums everywhere. It was so bad. I was so embarrassed for him. A lawyer, he says he's a lawyer or something. He's a spokesperson for the party. So honestly, so badly behaved. And the PDP says that our party restates its position that the APC and the team are responsible for the current biting hardship. He was trying to talk about the 8 years of Buhari. Is it not the same APC government?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same APC government. And like the professor said, You said that Emilokon and you wanted to fix it. Is this how you are fixing it? The honest to God truth is that the genesis of this current crisis that we are in is from that reckless statement that was made on May 29, that subsidy is over. You could still have removed the subsidy in a more genteel way. Do you understand? In a more reasonable and you know, there's so you could still have done the same thing. You don't run the government off the cuff as if you wake up from a beer parlor, go take a leak in the toilet, come back to the table and say, gentlemen, you don't run governments like that. So they will take responsibility and stop referring to Buhari and leave the man in his retirement. You already knew what Buhari was up to when the elections were going on. And if you couldn't come with the formula, there's no point coming to blame. Buhari will blame, he blamed whoever it is, Jonathan. Jonathan will blame. No, we've had enough of that. We don't want a history class. We want something that tells us which way we are going. And the PDP says that our party counsels Tinubu and the APC to face their self-inflicted woes and hit the patriotic call of PDP governors who are providing, that is all, a lot of PDP governors are not any different from, they're all the same of same. All said and done, our politics is in a very risky place. And let all of us put the nation first in our thinking.
Right, we're going to stay with the Vanguard newspaper because it's every day we get this sort of news in the papers lately. Hardship, we're hungry, we're weak, but our protesters tell Tinubu.
Well, this story should have been in the very first story that I said, and like I said, this protest of the NLC, the government should brace itself up to tell them the truth. They should brace themselves up. You'll be lucky if you don't have members of the armed forces themselves joining. I saw a video that was extremely embarrassing. This gentleman is supposed to be a soldier. I'm using those words because I couldn't verify. He's in the war front somewhere in Maiduguri. This man is paid 50K a month. Okay. Soldier wants to go on leave. Guess what? When he got to the motor park, he found that the money he had on him couldn't even take him back home and come back. He went back to the war front. That's the kind of crisis we're living. We have. He went back to continue fighting. Why don't you have a provision, for example, that says that when you are going on leave, you are given a package? There are things that you can do, in the immediate to handle such issues. Okay, when you are going back, this is a man who put his life on the line, for God's sake. Surely you must make provisions for him to go and see his family.